Alright, you beautiful Red Devils faithful, welcome back. Pull up a chair, grab your matchday brew, and settle in, because today we are absolutely diving headfirst into the most electrifying, jaw-dropping, pulse-racing transfer gossip and dressing room drama swirling around Old Trafford right now. If you live and breathe Manchester United, if you bleed red, white, and black, then mate, you are in exactly the right place. This is the kind of content that gets your heart racing faster. We've got player power, we've got blockbuster bids, we've got loyalty battles, we've got a superstar who might just be eyeing the exit door at Stamford Bridge, and we've got the future of a man who has already carved his name into the fabric of this great club. So buckle up, Red Devils, because this one is going to be a barnstorming, roof-lifting, goosebumps all over ride from start to finish. And before we crack on, make sure you stay connected and never miss a single update, because at Manchester United right now, things are moving at lightning speed, and you do not want to be the last one to know. Let's kick things off with something that tells you everything about the character and desire still burning inside this United dressing room. Reports are coming in thick and fast that senior players, and we're not talking about your fringe merchants here. We're talking about Bruno Fernandes, the beating heart and captain of this football club, Matheus Cunha, who has been absolutely magnificent and has taken to United like a duck to water, and the ever-dependable, much-maligned but still magnificently committed Harry Maguire, have gone directly to the club's hierarchy and told them in no uncertain terms, keep Michael Carrick. Now, isn't that something? When players of that caliber, men who have played at the highest level, men who understand what it takes to drag a football club back to the summit of English football, go out of their way to personally lobby for their manager, you have to sit up and take notice. That is not a minor detail. That is a statement of intent. That is a dressing room that believes. And as every proper football fan knows, you build empires on belief. But here's the question we have to ask ourselves. Red Devils, is that enough? In the modern game, where boardrooms increasingly value data, commercial appeal, and global brand names over genuine footballing relationships, does player loyalty to a manager actually carry the weight it once did? Does the voice of Bruno Fernandes, arguably the most important player at this football club right now, genuinely move the needle in the corridors of power at Old Trafford? Because it absolutely should. And if the United hierarchy are smart, and let's hope they are, they will listen very, very carefully to the men who lace up their boots and go to war every single week. My honest opinion, Carrick deserves that chance. He understands this club. He understands what it means to wear that badge. And clearly, he has the full backing of the dressing room. In a world of uncertainty and chaos, that is worth its weight in gold. Right. Now let's talk about the transfer rumour that has got every single Red Devil up and down the country absolutely buzzing with excitement. And for very good reason. Sources outside of Chelsea, mind you, are continuing to whisper that Cole Palmer would privately consider a move to Manchester United. Let that sink in for just a moment. Cole Palmer, the jewel of Stamford Bridge, the most naturally gifted English footballer of his generation. The man who glides across a football pitch like he's been doing it since before he could walk. The boy who grew up as a City Academy product and has gone on to become arguably the most devastating creative force in the Premier League. That Cole Palmer. Privately considering Manchester United. Now, of course, Chelsea's stance couldn't be more firm if it was carved in granite. They have made it abundantly clear. No approach will be entertained. He is going absolutely nowhere this summer. And frankly, from a Chelsea perspective, why on earth would you even entertain the conversation? Palmer is their golden goose, their match winner, their everything. But, and this is a massive but, football is a funny old game, isn't it? Players have ambitions, players have dreams. And if Cole Palmer, deep down in those private moments, genuinely has United on his mind, then the football world is about to get very, very interesting indeed. Here's what I want to know though. What does this say about United's pulling power? Because just a few years ago, the idea of a player of Palmer's calibre even entertaining United as a destination would have seemed laughable to many. The fact that these whispers exist at all suggests that something is shifting at Old Trafford. The rebuilding project is beginning. Would Palmer be the kind of signing that announces to the entire footballing world that Manchester United are genuinely back? Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. But the realistic fan in me says, don't hold your breath just yet. This one could run and run all summer long. Now hold onto your scarves, Red Devils, because this next one is sending shockwaves through every United fan group, podcast, and WhatsApp chat in the country right now. Manchester United are reportedly about to unleash a massive upgraded bid for Nottingham Forest's brilliant midfielder, Elliot Anderson. And Forest are about to be tested to their absolute limit. This is the kind of transfer story that gets the blood pumping. Anderson has been one of the standout midfielders in the Premier League this season. Dynamic, tenacious, technically brilliant, and with the kind of energy and drive that Old Trafford has been desperately crying out for in the engine room. He's the sort of player who makes things happen, who covers every blade of grass, and who has that winning mentality baked right into his DNA. United going with a massive upgraded bid tells you everything. This is not a casual inquiry. This is not a gentle probe of the water. This is a statement of serious, committed intent. But here is where it gets absolutely mouth-wateringly complicated. And this is the question that is doing the rounds everywhere right now. What happens if United meet Forest's £125 million valuation before Manchester City do, but the player himself chooses City? And that, right there, is one of the most fascinating philosophical questions in modern football. Who holds the power, the player or the club? Technically, in today's game, with player power at an all-time high, with agents wielding enormous influence, and with the PFA and player contracts structured the way they are, if a player digs his heels in and refuses to move to a buying club, there is very little anyone can do. Forest could pocket United's £125 million, and Anderson could still end up at the Etihad if his heart is set on blue. But equally, Forest are a club. They have agency. They have a right to sell to whom they choose, particularly if one offer beats another financially. It is a genuinely complex situation, and one that could define not just this transfer window, but potentially the direction of both United and City for years to come. My opinion, United must push hard and fast. Speed is everything in these situations. Get the deal done, get the player excited about the project, sell him the vision, because if City swoop in and Anderson ends up at the Etihad, it will be yet another gut-wrenching near miss that haunts this fanbase for a generation. United simply cannot afford to blink. And finally, we arrive at the story that carries the most emotional weight of everything we've covered today. Because this one isn't just about football. This one is about identity, legacy, belonging, and heartbreak. Reports are now stating, clearly and without ambiguity, that Manchester United have absolutely no plans to reintegrate Marcus Rashford into the first team squad next season. Senior figures at the club, according to reports, still want to sell the Manchester-born forward who once had the entire footballing world at his feet. Marcus Rashford, a boy from Wythenshawe, a product of the United Academy, a man who scored on his debut, a man who fed children during a pandemic when the government wouldn't, a man who, at his very best, was unplayable, rapid, direct, clinical, electric. The kind of forward who could leave defenders for dead and finish with a composure that belied his years. And now, potentially, his journey at Old Trafford is over. It is a sad, sobering, deeply emotional reality to confront, because whatever has happened in recent seasons, whatever dip in form, whatever off-field noise, whatever breakdown in the relationship between player and club, Marcus Rashford is Manchester United in so many ways. He grew up there, he bled for that badge, He celebrated in front of the Stretford end. But football is a ruthless, unforgiving business. And if the senior figures at United, the men making the hard decisions, have determined that the Rashford chapter is closed, then perhaps, painful as it is, a fresh start is what both parties need. What do you reckon though, Red Devils? Does Rashford deserve one final chance to recapture that magic in a red shirt? Or is it time for a new chapter? For him and for United. What a summer it is shaping up to be at Old Trafford. Player power in the dugout, a generational talent potentially eyeing a move from Chelsea, a blockbuster bid for a dynamic midfielder, a goalkeeper saga unfolding in Turkey, and the heartbreaking potential end of a boyhood hero's time at the club. Manchester United are at a crossroads, but crossroads are where destinies are decided.